And there's no better guest than the one I have today to talk to us about what it means to be at the top of running Fulton County.
Most people do not understand the difference between a commissioner and a city council member, what the mayor does, what the chair of the county commission does.
You mentioned that you're maybe probably the only person that's been a city councilman, then the president of the city council, then a commissioner, and then the chairman. So
I
you
got
were
started when I was a baby.
Yep.
So,
That's right.
well, I won't say too much, go into too much detail here, but you have to manage disputes.
Sure.
You
Manage the commissioners.
There's a rogues gallery of county commissioners, Fulton County commissioners who've been to the penitentiary. Probably some on their way now. City council, I served them through.
Want to drop names?
I do what I do because it's the right thing to do, because I love what I do and I am excellent at what I do. I would never do anything to.
Oh. Hi, my name is Commissioner Mo Ivory, and welcome to Civics for the People, a podcast just about civics, so that you can learn everything you need to learn about Fulton County, about government in general, and you can be an informed citizen. Now, I'm a commissioner in Fulton County, so I want to start right here explaining to you what I do every day, what it means for you. And there's no better guest than the one I have today to talk to us about what it means to be at the top of running Fulton County. And so I'm so glad and proud to bring one of my colleagues to the podcast, Chairman Robb Pitts. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Great to be with you on
Thank
this
you.
your inaugural podcast, right?
That's right. Thank you so much for we're kicking this podcast off, and we're so happy to have you today. And I think that a lot of people just don't understand the structure of the government of Fulton County. They confuse us with the council people in Atlanta, or maybe the people that work at the state. But tell us what is the function of Fulton County and what commissioners and then the chair are really here for.
Okay, that's a great question, because most people do not understand the difference between a commissioner and a city council member, what the mayor does, what the chair of the county commission does. And I guess I've been in a pretty unique position, having served as a member of the Atlanta City Council, having served as president of the Atlanta City Council, having served as a commissioner of Fulton County, and for the past 8 years as chair of the Board of Commissioners of Fulton County. So I have a pretty unique perspective on all of these various positions and the roles. So first and foremost, when people talk about city government, mayor, city council, they think in terms of police and fire, parks, recreation, and zoning. Then you contrast that with what we do here at the county. And based upon the Constitution of the state of Georgia, we have 4 or 5 specific responsibilities as a county government. Number one, public safety. That means the sheriff, that means the courts, that means the marshals, all things dealing with public safety.
And that includes the jail?
That's correct.
Okay.
So one of the big issues, the jail, even though we don't run the jail, but it does include the jail in terms of funding, providing the funds for the jail. The sheriff, elected by the people, actually runs the jail, but the Board of Commissioners provides the money for the sheriff to run the jail as he sees fit in terms of the management of the day-to-day operation of the jail. Second primary responsibility of a county government's health and human services. That means programs dealing with public health, mental health, senior citizens, jobs, including even economic development, services and programs for our young people.
So when people think about health and human services, should they think about emergency rooms and
All of
hospitals
that. All of
and
that. Grading-
urgent cares and things like that?
Grading hospital, 911.
Okay.
Yeah, all of that is Fulton County's responsibility.
Okay.
Next, I would say would be our wonderful library system. We're responsible for libraries. At one point, we had a relationship with the city, where it was Atlanta library system. Now it's a Fulton County library system. And in my judgment, we have one of the finest in the whole country. We spend a lot of time, a lot of money, but we, Fulton County, are responsible for our libraries. And last but not least, we're responsible for, I'd say, animal services. However, based upon the Constitution, we, Fulton County Government Board of Commissioners, we're only responsible for rabies control. Most folk don't know that. But through the years, we've taken over all things
All of it.
dealing with animals.
So
And
strays
all
and
of that,
shelters
all of
and all
that.
that. But the
Yeah.
real constitutional requirement or charter
Rabies,
is
rabies,
just
just
rabies
rabies,
control.
right.
Okay.
And we have one of the finest animal facilities in the whole wide world. I've looked at all of them. We spent a lot of money. We were criticized when we first did it, but again, it's one of the finest, I think, in the whole world. And again, very, very, very proud of it.
And then people often think about the county when they think about their taxes, right? Their property taxes. So is that another function?
We all, in addition to the property tax, we appraise property and we collect taxes. We appraise the property through our tax assessor, and our tax commissioner, who is elected by the public, outstanding, Dr. Ferdinand, give him credit. He always says that he's a tax commissioner and not a social worker. His job is to collect taxes, and he's the best at what he does. So he keeps us, flush with cash, so to speak. But that's two other things that we do that are not necessarily mandated by the Constitution of the state: appraising property, collecting taxes, and the other biggie, running elections.
Running elections.
Again, another facility. We spent in building out our new elections hub in South Fulton County. We were criticized for that. But prior to that facility being constructed and organized and outfitted for us, we were spread out all over the county, which was not a good situation. We managed our elections well, but because now everything is under one roof, all things elections in one place, it really has helped us. And I think that was one of the real reasons why we ran, in my judgment, that last election was a flawless election, because of that new facility and because everything was under one roof.
Okay. And so you've been, you mentioned that you're probably the only person that's been a city councilman, then the president of the city council, then a commissioner, and then the chairman.
I think that's probably true. Whether there's anyone else, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So people point to me and say that.
Yeah. So
I
you
got
were
started when I was a baby.
Yep.
So,
That's right.
but I'm still going strong.
You
I'm
are.
like Ali.
You are. I can attest to that personally.
Ready for the rope-a-dope.
I know.
Yeah, let's go.
You heard that?
Yeah, let's
Ready.
get it on.
Okay, so tell me when you decided to become a commissioner. You had already had city experience, and you decided, why did you make that move to the county?
Well, what happened was, it was 2001, I ran for mayor. And my opponent at that time was Shirley Franklin, who became mayor. And little known fact, I lost to Shirley Franklin by 118 votes. That's it, 118 votes.
Wow.
The good thing about that race, so Shirley and I were friends before we ran against each other. We were friends during the race, and we've been friends ever since then. So politics in these races, you don't have to be mortal enemies or enemies for life. But again, I had everybody in the world against me at that time, but we only lost to Shirley by 118 votes.
I think we should come back and do another podcast on being mortal enemies during elections, because things have sure changed, right?
Really changed.
But that was nice to hear.
Yeah, so after I lost the mayor's race, I was obviously out of politics. I finished my term as president of the city council. And then December 31st, about 5:30 on 2001, I left City Hall for the last time. So I was out for maybe 6 months, and people was, man, you got too much experience to be, sitting on the sidelines. Why don't you do something else? I said, well, okay. So at that time, there were still 7 commissioners, but there were 5 district commissioners, and we have 6 now, 5 district commissioners and 2 at-large commissioners. Oh. The chairman's position was at-large. It was called District 1 or Post 1. There was another at-large position called Post 2. So I ran for Post 2 and 1. Okay. And I served in that position. That's how I moved over to the county commission after being a member of city council and after being council president. I served in that position until the legislature, once again, when the Republicans controlled the legislature, and we forget that redistricting is controlled by the state and not by county governments and not by city governments. So at that time, the Republicans controlled the state legislature, our delegation in particular. So what they did, they deleted my position altogether, and that at-large
That at-large
position number
seat.
2, and created another district seat. That's why you now have chairman's position and six district seats.
Okay.
So my position was just eliminated. There's nothing
Okay.
I could do about it.
Okay.
You have to suck it up
Yeah.
and then
So
wait.
then what, so then you decided to run for chair when that position was
Exactly.
eliminated?
No, well, the next time around I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so then you ran for chair and
Yeah.
you've been the chair for the last 8 years and.
8 or 9 years, that's
Yeah,
correct.
and going for another 4
And
years.
preparing for another 4 years, absolutely.
And so you talked about the state. For any of our constituents out there or for residents out there, there are 15 cities that make up Fulton County. And then there are 159 counties that make up the state of Georgia, with Fulton being the biggest of all the
The
counties
largest.
in Georgia, the largest,
largest.
right? So how does,
And one of the most important counties in the United States of America. There
Yeah.
are 3,250 plus counties in the United States of America. And Fulton County, little old Fulton County right here, is a top tier county. In fact, a recent magazine had us number 4
Number
out
4
of
in the
3,000 plus.
country.
And that's a big deal. And
That
I
is a
always
big
say
deal.
Fulton County is a big deal. And that just simply proves it. A lot of times when you're living in a place, you don't really understand because, well, this is not right, this is not right. But other folk looking at it from afar, they can say, wow, I wish I were there. And to me, the testament of what a great job with 2 things happen. Number 1, being recognized as the number 4 county in the country. And the second thing that happened, our bond rating, that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people unless you're in finance. But when you get a AAA bond rating, AAA, that means that you are able to borrow money
Right.
at
just like having an 800 credit score.
Exactly,
And so a
exactly.
bond rating is your credit score for your county and
Exactly.
for government. So if you have a
Exactly.
AAA rating, you're doing really well and you can borrow all the money you need.
And a lot of that is due to the governance of the county. And I'm
Okay.
happy to say that that AAA bond rating came under my watch as chairman because I'm a stickler for watching how taxpayers' dollars are spent. Because a lot of times when people get elected, they become experts in finance. All of a sudden, overnight,
Yeah.
you witness that since you've been here.
Yeah.
I know more than our finance department, how much more than they know about finance. But it's to their credit, to our credit, that we watch really every penny.
Yeah.
And it's the taxpayers' money. It's not our money.
Yeah. So 15 cities inside of Fulton County, Atlanta being the largest.
And the
then,
smallest is, I challenge everybody listen to name the smallest one. You may not even know.
I don't. I was going to say Union City, but I don't think
I
it's
do
Union
this a lot of
City.
times when I'm out with people and just haven't.
Teach me.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
say, you
Civics
say.
for the people,
Yeah,
civics
yeah.
for the commissioner.
Well, 15 cities within Fulton County, and most people, I say, okay, name all 15. Now, if you name one that's not in Fulton County, I'm going to subtract from your score. So, but, people always say, well, Jonesboro and all places like that,
Yeah.
Decatur.
Yeah,
But
no.
the smallest city within Fulton County, and it is a city, its own mayor, council, fire department, all of that stuff, is right next to Roswell, has about 700 people.
I do not know it.
Mountain Park.
Mountain Park.
Mountain Park.
Mountain Park.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell
I've
all
al-
your folk to remember that.
Mountain
That's a
Park.
trivia
It's right
question.
next to Milton.
That's right, and
Right.
Brownsville, yeah,
Yeah.
Mountain Park.
Yeah, Mountain Park. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
There you
That's
go.
a
One
good
of
one.
the
Yeah.
the largest of the 15 cities is Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
The smallest, Mountain Park.
Mountain
Thank you
Park.
for teaching
About
me that today.
800 people.
About 800
Yeah,
people. Thank
but
you for.
it is a city.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you for teaching me
Yeah.
about that. And so with the 159 counties in Georgia, tell us a little bit about your job as chairman of the largest county, Fulton County, and what is the difference between your job as the chairman versus your job as a commissioner in a district?
Okay, so as chair, I have one vote. The 7 of us, we each have one vote. What I do, though, as chair is I preside over meetings. Like, unlike city council president, I had the power to appoint committees. We don't have committees here. We meet as a committee of the whole. So the one difference is here that I preside over the meetings, just as I did as city council president. But you also, theoretically, you're the face of the county. You are the spokesperson for the county. Even though the county's official position may be a position that you disagree with, but as a spokesperson for the county, you have to speak for positions that the county has taken.
Okay.
Now, that's a little problem for some of us now because we appoint people to boards who are supposed to be on these various boards and authorities representing the county's position.
Not
but-
your individual position.
Exactly, and that's a problem. That's something we're going to have to address in the near future because that is getting out of hand, quite frankly.
Wow.
But so primarily preside over the meetings, ensure decorum. I watch over the budget, but that's more personal than what I'm required to do under the Constitution. So that, I mean, it's not, but you become, well, you become almost like some say like the godfather, the grandfather, you know, well, I won't say too much, go into too much detail here, but you have to manage disputes.
Sure.
You
Manage the commissioners.
manage
I
the
think
commission-
that's I think
Yeah,
it's fair to say,
yeah.
since we're trying to be like open and
Yeah,
honest
yeah,
on
yeah,
this,
yeah.
civics lesson, you
Yeah.
have to manage the different opinions of the commissioners
this one-
because
and-
you need 4 votes
That's
to
right.
pass
Yeah,
anything,
doesn't
right?
matter how right you are, it boils down to 1, 2, 3, 4 votes. And
That's
you try
right.
to manage that, and everybody says, we're gonna do what's best for my constituents, but that's easy to say. Then there are pressures out there as well, but it's managing, the other 6 commissioners, managing their expectations, being respectful to them, listening to them, and providing, some advice and counsel, because as chair, in some cases, or probably most cases, you may have more information. By the way, my position is now full-time. It wasn't full-time until a couple of years ago.
Wow.
It was part-time, although I'm here all day, every day. But I don't have to be, didn't have to, but now it is full-time. And in fact, prior to 2 years ago, well, I had to work behind the scenes to get, how does a commission work? It takes 4 votes, but a lot of times, when you say 4 votes, that's 4 opinions. If you go before the full board, that's 7 different opinions. At some point, you got to have that group that comes together. You put those 4 votes together. But the point I'm trying to make here now is that when I decided that it was time for us to get a salary increase, as a classic example, I was making, I think it was like $50,000 a year, whereas my counterparts, chairs of the other big county, they were making $250,000. The largest county in the state of Georgia, but my compensation and that of the commissioners. So I worked behind the scenes with the legislature, Speaker Jan Jones in particular, and got her ear, and with her support and the help of our lobbyists, we were able to increase it. But I couldn't get the rest of the board involved because there would have been at least 4, 5, or 6 different opinions, and it never would have happened. So I just did it and brought it back, say, here's a big Christmas present for you. So
Yeah, thank
all's
you.
well that ends well. So you came in at the right time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you ever get tired of all that people working?
No,
Like you
I
talk
love
about
it.
the
You-
4
listen,
votes.
no.
Like when somebody gets elected and you just don't want to work with them. I mean, what in all your years of doing this, have you not got exhausted of the politics of it all?
No, I mean, what I don't, because I love what I do. I think I'm good at it. In fact, I think I'm great at what I do, because it takes a knowledge of the public process. It takes a knowledge of the Constitution of the country, Constitution of the state of Georgia, Robert's Rules of Order, which I'm a stickler for that.
Yeah.
And you got to spend the time, and that's what people do not do for the most part. They just come to the meetings, and sit there. And
Yeah.
in fact, one of the things I really hate now is that with cell phones,
On your
people
phone during the
on there
meeting.
and talking to their chiefs of staff or or whoever staff people, telling them how to vote. You need to say this, you need to say that, and you lose that where you, in the past, an elected official, whether city council, council member, state legislature, you had to know what you were talking about when you're called on if you want to make a statement. But now you sit there, you got prepared remarks, and you'll notice, I just talk from here. And that's sort of the other thing about today. If when you're in politics, and there's a moral compass. You know what's right, you know what's wrong. You don't need a code of ethics, although we do have one. And when you're getting close to the line, when you're getting ready to cross that line. And if you cross it, you will go to the U.S. penitentiary. And I can call it roll.
Yes.
There's a rogues gallery of county commissioners, Fulton County commissioners who've been to the penitentiary. Probably some on their way now. City council. I served.
Want to
I'm
drop
just-
names? No,
No, I'm just
I mean, I
telling
know
you.
you are.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
you
just
are.
telling you
Yeah.
because and you can see it when new people come on. You can see, well, this person here, and the bad people outside, they watch government. They
Sure.
watch those of us who are in office. And what happens is, a lot of times now, unlike you, when you don't have a job, you're susceptible to all things. And these folk out there who are looking for favors, when you take that oath, you swear and promise that you won't do anything. But when you're in need, you don't have a job, no other source of income, you're very open to things like that. And that's what happens. I hate to say it.
Yeah, I mean, I know you've seen a lot in your, decades of serving and being in these roles. What do you want for Fulton County? If
I
you
want-
thought about a great, what would you want for Fulton County?
I want Fulton County to continue to grow, to continue, I guess we're number 4 in some cases now. I'd love for us to be number 1. I want us to continue to grow internationally. We're doing a great job with that. I mean, you're going to be key to that. Once you get, you're here now, and you have the background, the training, all of that to represent, the city. I can't be all things to all people. I can't go all places, but I'm looking to you for real leadership. I told you that when we first talked about
Yes,
you
and I
running.
appreciate that.
So I think that your future is tremendously bright here for Fulton County. So to answer your question, I will continue for Fulton County to continue to grow, to become an international power, which we can, working in conjunction with the state of Georgia. State of Georgia been the best place, best state, last 10, 11 years in a row in which to do business. Many of those businesses locate here in Fulton County. Why?
Right.
Because we're open for business, we're pro-business, and our capital city is right here. We got a great mayor, we got a great capital city, but I have to remind people now, Atlanta is in Fulton County. Fulton
right.
County is not in Atlanta.
That's right.
And again, it's no disrespect to the city of Atlanta, nor the mayor, or any of our friends on the city council, but we are the big deal, not the city of Atlanta.
Yeah.
So that's number 1. Number 2, from a program project point of view, South Fulton desperately needs a new hospital. And that's been a priority for mine. We're making tremendous progress working specifically with Grady Hospital. As you know, we broke ground on a freestanding emergency hospital that's going to go in South Fulton County. The next phase of that, what I call phase 2, will be the construction of medical office facilities. And the third phase, it will be a brand new hospital in South Fulton County. And then we thought that time frame was going to be 5 or 6 years from now. Had a meeting with them last week. It's probably going to be in 2 to 3 and a
that's
half year
wonderful.
time frame. So we're making progress. We're also working to build. We're very proud of our seniors in Fulton County. I think we have the finest multi-purpose centers of any place in the country, which is one of the reasons why we're ranked so highly.
Yeah.
But we're building 2 new ones, one up north, 4700 North Point Parkway, and a comparable facility in South Fulton County, owned property that the county owns.
Yeah, that's
So-
another thing I don't think people think about if they're caring for their elder parents. There are senior centers through the county that you can take your older parents to. And senior does not mean 80, it is 55 and above. So, I mean, I think that's another service that just the average citizen doesn't know is out there for them to take advantage of through the county services. Yeah.
And then, of course, the services that we provide for our seniors, our ride share. I'm really
it's
proud
wonderful.
of that. In conjunction, we partner with Uber and
Uber
Lyft,
and Lyft.
where we provide rides for seniors. It was 16 rides a month for $1 a ride. Now, there was a move to raise it to $4, which I opposed, and we finally, again, I only had 1 vote at the time. Well, 2, I think 2 of us voted to keep it at 1. We didn't prevail. But later on, it came back. Seniors, got up in arms, so now it's back to $1. So I want to raise it back up to the
8 rides, 'cause it came
to
down to
16.
4 rides.
No, from 16 to 8.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
want to take it back to 16.
Okay.
So that's something that I'm really proud of that we're doing. So working for and with our seniors, and then the reason that this is so important now, with all the stuff that's going on in Washington, the cuts to grants that we have received in the past that we rely upon, those will probably go away. Some have already gone away, or at a minimum, if they don't go away complete, they will be substantially reduced.
Yeah.
Then if that happens,
what happens to those people? They don't look to the city, they look to the county. In fact, we were going to say earlier about the constitutional responsibilities that the county has.
Health and
Yes.
Human Services.
Yes.
That's, we're providing food. These, some 100+ social agencies that we don't provide the services directly, but we help fund these various
Organizations that
nonprofit
provide,
organizations that
provide
they're,
the services.
Hosea Feeds the Hungry, Open Hand, I could name, you
Yeah.
can name them as well. And that's how we service these people. So when these federal grants go away, that they depend upon.
That flows right down to the
they're gonna
county.
come to us. That's
Yes.
exactly right.
Yes.
Our Ryan White program, we get some $38 million from the federal government. Ryan White is used for AIDS and HIV prevention, and we're still, unfortunately, that's one of the, when I say black marks, the negative things that's happened.
Oh, yeah, we're still a city that has a problem with
in
that.
the world.
Yeah.
We're one of the worst in the world for it, but we're making progress. But with that, those $38 million that we get from the federal government were to disappear, that
That
would
would
be a
have a
travesty.
huge impact.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Huge impact.
Yeah.
So I hope you're learning about all these things that come out of the county, and giving you an idea of the responsibility of the chair and the commission. And so I asked you what you want the
Can I add
legs.
one more?
Yes.
That I forgot.
Go.
Our airport.
Oh.
People forget about our airport.
Yes.
It's Hartsfield Jackson. Everybody loves that. And oh God, I can tell you some stories about that when I was a young city council member. I could not have dreamed, nor could Maynard Jackson. When we voted, I was there. I had the privilege, honor to serve with Maynard and with Andy. With all of them, that's a fact. But when we voted to expand, to tear down the old airport, to build the new airport, none of us, and I guess I'm probably the only one, Andy's still here, who could have, Bill Campbell's still here, who could have imagined that, because Campbell was on the city council at the time, that airport would mean what it does, not only to Atlanta, Fulton County, and Georgia, and the southeast in the country, but the world. We should say the 3 Bs, the biggest, the busiest, and the best.
Wow.
And that's still pretty much true.
Yeah.
So very proud of that. Now, back to Fulton County.
Yeah.
Our airport, Charlie Brown Airport, everybody
A
hears
private
about-
airport.
Private airport, which we own. Everybody hears about PDK, Peachtree DeKalb. I'm sick of hearing about Peachtree DeKalb. No disrespect.
All right, talk about Charlie Brown.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no disrespect to them.
Yeah.
But we have a major renovation going on at our airport. And it will be bigger and better than PDK. And the big news there, we'll have our own customs facility when the big shots come in,
Yeah.
and the Coca-Colas of the world, the NCRs, the Arthur Blanks, the private
The
folk
Tyler
who-
Perrys.
Yeah,
all that,
exactly.
yeah.
They park their private jets there. And what's going to happen when we expand our runway by 1,000 feet I think it's from 6,000 feet to 7,000 feet, you will be able to fly directly from our airport, little old Charlie Brown Airport, to Europe without
Wow.
stopping. That is going to be another
Huge.
big deal for
That's
Fulton County.
amazing.
So
And there
I
are
am-
also programs at the airport for any of the people out there that want their kids to learn how to fly.
That's exactly right.
I don't think a
Yeah.
lot of people think about
Yeah.
that. If you
Yeah.
want your kid to become a pilot or learn
Yeah.
aviation, go to the Charlie Brown
Yeah.
Airport right in your county,
right.
right here in Fulton. So thank you for bringing
Yeah.
that up.
And something else, I know you're very interested in this with your profession as a sports and entertainment professor and most folks don't know that. You need to talk about that. You have a job as a commissioner.
I do have a job.
Yeah, I mean a day job.
Yes, a day job.
Not that this isn't a day job, but the arts. You hear a
Yes.
lot about Fulton County and the arts. We're the largest public funder of the arts in the state, and we take pride in that. And I go back to one of my predecessors, Michael Lomax, who was really the godfather of the county getting involved in the arts. And we take pride in that, and we'll continue to support the arts. I'm very
Yeah.
proud of what we do.
And a little known fact, the National Black Arts Festival was founded by Fulton County and is a, Fulton County product.
Yeah.
And basically that is one of our legacy organizations along with Hammond's House and
Mm-hmm.
a couple of others. So, I mean, it does go way back to the commitment to
Mm-hmm.
the arts, and that's really great. I asked you about what you want for Fulton County. To end this all, I just want to ask you, what do you want your legacy to be?
I don't even think about that. I mean, I've said, let me tell you what, I'm from Haddock, Georgia, Haddock, a little small place in the road in Jones County, Georgia.
Bigger than Mountain Park or smaller than Mountain Park?
About the same size.
Okay.
But we still don't have a traffic light where I was born. It's Jones County is between Bibb County and Baldwin County. So you know Macon, there's Macon, then Gray, then Haddock, then Milledgeville. And everybody there was related, black and white. So, I mean, I never could have a dream. Now think about it even now, that I would end up being, you know, a public official, and having what I think made positive contributions to Atlanta and Fulton County and the state of Georgia, and been involved as I have in, you know, the international growth in particular. That is something I have always, and I guess that's because of my background as a, you know this, I started my professional career as a university professor at Kent State University. So been heavily involved in international growth of county, city, state, and even the country, you know, Olympics, you name it. So I'm hoping that, but I just to answer, I never could have imagined that I would be doing what I'm doing and enjoying what I do. So I never thought it from a legacy point of view. And I talked to my chief of staff, Harry, I don't want anything named after me. That's not why I do what I do. I do what I do because it's the right thing to do, because I love what I do, and I am excellent at what I do. And I made myself a promise that I would never do anything to.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Oh, Chairman.
Excuse me.
Oh.
To embarrass my mother or my grandmother and my daughter. I never have and never will.
Well, that seems like the fitting place to stop right there. And thank you so much for sharing that with us. And I just want to say thank you for being such a wonderful mentor to me. And that I hope I'll be a part of your legacy.
You are.
I hope I will be.
No. Your future is so bright.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I really mean that.
I really do love you.
Excuse me, I just get emotional.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
for
a
that.
very emotional person. Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I think that's so important. I mean, how often do you see people that are running whole counties, you know, have, you know, an emotional moment that they, you know, care about what's going on? And I know that about the chairman, that he cares about this county and he cares about you, and so do I. And that's why I'm doing this, because I want you to understand where your money's going and how your government operates. And for people who say, like, my vote doesn't matter and it doesn't mean anything, it means everything. And learning about what it means may be the motivator that you need to go ahead and participate a little more, because what we want is for you to participate. The same way that we are, you have the same kind of voice. So thank you so much for joining this episode. We'll be back with more episodes of Civics for the People, and we'll just be giving you all the information that you need to be most informed, all right? Thanks, everybody. If you enjoyed this episode of Civics for the People, the podcast by me, Commissioner Mo Ivory, you can keep on getting more by going to any of my platforms. And you will find correct information, intriguing interviews, and you know what? Just the basics of government that you need to understand, like what is going on with my money.